So PFF dropped their all-pro teams today, first, second, and third. And as we all can probably imagine, there are a number of Philadelphia Eagles on there. But there's one name that was not mentioned that makes zero sense. Zero sense that it was not mentioned. And we're going to talk about it. So let's get into it.
You want Philly?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Joe Castro, a.k.a. Philly Fresco, and it is Philly, the podcast. So today we're going to talk about my guys over at PFF. If you know, I'm cool with some of the people that are over there, but right now they might not like what I'm going to say. But hey, friends can disagree. It is what it is. So we're going to talk about their all-pro teams, the first, second, and third team. Like I said, there were a number of Eagles players on there, but there was a name missing from the list that just made zero sense that it was not on that list. So we're going to talk about that. Now, before we get into that, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We are on the road to 5K, and we are on the road to the Super Bowl at the same damn time. Feels really good. So definitely hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. We on it. Let's get into it. So I'm going to start by reading who actually is on the list, okay? We'll start with the first team, which included only two people, right? The two people that were on the first team was Lane Johnson, our right tackle, who gave up 0 sacks and 0 QB hits all year that he played. TJ Edwards is the other one on the first team, 159 tackles and a 76.4 passer rating when targeted. So that, look, we'll start there. Lane Johnson is more than deserving. Obviously has had an incredible year. You can make an argument for Jordan Mailata. There's been some games that he hasn't looked as up to snuff as some others, but he's had a really good year as well. Very, very deserving for Lane Johnson. There's some guys that, we'll get to the second list, but maybe one of those guys probably should have been bumped up to the first list, especially looking at the stats and looking at they were the best player in their position. I believe the second best player in their position. So maybe it makes sense. But anyway, so TJ Edwards, I think that's awesome. I think TJ Edwards has become a fan favorite over this past 2 seasons. Last year, he was very, very effective, very, very productive. This year, even more productive, even more effective. There was a little bit of a slide. I feel like there was like a 3 or 4 game slide where it felt like TJ Edwards was kind of not looking as great as he did early on in the season, but he was able to kind of turn it around towards the end of the season. So I'm very happy for TJ Edwards. Obviously, the 159 tackles, I'm 90% sure that's a franchise like record, or at least in the top 5 of the franchise, because I don't remember seeing that anytime soon. So it comes to the question mark, right? And I was talking about this yesterday on my live. Now, what do you do with a TJ Edwards? TJ Edwards is in a position where Eagles don't necessarily pay their linebackers, right? And they definitely don't pay high amounts of money to their linebackers. So I'm a little bit worried with him playing so well. What does it mean for his future in Philadelphia? But it's going to be nice having him going through these playoffs, and maybe he comes back, and that would be awesome. But shout out to him. His free agency is going to be very nice now that he had that year. And then there's 3 that were on all-pro second team. All right. Now, Jason Kelce is the guy I was kind of insinuating maybe he should have been a little bit higher. Maybe a Jason Kelce is a guy you throw a little bit higher. Again, like I said, he was the second overall rated center in the league per PFF as well. So I guess it makes sense that he's on the second team. There's one guy ahead of him. He's probably on the first team. But bias, right? I'm biased. I'm an Eagles fan, so I think that Jason Kelce deserved that number 1 spot. A.J. Brown, almost 1,500 yards. We obviously know that he tied the receptions record. He beat the receiving yards record, and he has over 10 touchdowns this year. Him and Devontae Smith have been absolute dogs. I'm kind of surprised to not see Devontae Smith on this list. I know they probably felt like they had to pick one, but I think both of them, if you're going to put, especially if you're going to put A.J. Brown, and tell me if you think I'm bugging with this statement, but I would put Devontae Smith's year over A.J. Brown's year. I understand the yards, But Devontae Smith, outside of, and you can take off the first game, right? He did it in 16 games. He broke the receptions record. I mean, he just had a heck of a year. He was very, very reliable. Like, I felt like every game you saw him playing, he was making at least a couple big catches in the game. So, look, I'm happy for A.J. Brown. Don't get me wrong, but I definitely think Devontae Smith deserved a little bit of love as well. Now, this one might surprise some people. James Bradberry ended up being on this all-pro second team. Makes sense. It does make sense when you look at the numbers, right? He's been shut down at that second cornerback spot. And Eagles don't really make their cornerbacks travel, right? So it's not like Darius Slay has always had to deal with the best, wide receiver, and James Bradberry got the leftovers. They both were basically handling, the same type of duties, just on different sides. So I understand why James Bradberry got this, and it's very deserving. And you can look at a Darius Slay. I know everybody's going to probably bring up 3rd and 30. I don't want to hear it. But you can look at Darius Slay's season this year, and he had a very, very good season as well. He shut down Justin Jefferson early on in the year. He's shut down some really good wide receivers this year. So look, I'm happy for James Bradberry. Don't get me wrong. But it's weird to not see a guy like Chauncey Gardner, who leads the league. Well, it's tied for the league in interceptions this year. It's weird to not see a Darius Slay there. But look, these guys all earned it. I'm not taking away anything. I just kind of want to add players, right? Now, one player I do want to add, and this made zero sense. I had when I saw this. I went, ha, son. Are you kidding me? Like, bro, how is Hassan Reddick not on any of these teams? How is Hassan Reddick not on any? How is he not first team? Forget any of these teams. I mean, even if you want to put him second team and spark that debate of him and Micah, or him and whoever you want to put him next to, I want to see the rest of the list. I haven't looked at the rest of the list. I'm literally just waking up. I got to go to work pretty soon, so I wanted to get this out. I'm going to look at the rest of the list and see who the heck they actually put above him, but it makes zero sense. 0 cents that Hassan Reddick is not on that list. I mean, 16 sacks. What was it? 5 forced fumbles. I mean, the guy's just been all over the field. He's been all over the field for us. Hassan Reddick has been the biggest addition to the Philadelphia Eagles, in my opinion, and that's saying a lot. The Eagles added a A.J. Brown. The Eagles added, some weapons on that defensive side, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Robert Quinn, who looked good against the Giants. I'm not saying he should be on any All-Pro team, but he looked good against the Giants. Maybe that's a good sign. But anyways, you look at all the additions that this Eagles team has made, and I think one of, if not the most impactful, has been Hassan Reddick. So for Hassan Reddick to not be on this list, it gives me hater vibes. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It really does. It gives me those type of, I feel like you're not really taking it into account when you look at everything that he's done for this team, right? He had a sack if he would have had a sack in the last game, that would have been 9 games with at least a half a sack consistency, right? If he would have had 2 sacks in the last game, that would have been the first. He would have been one of 4 players, to have 2 or more sacks in 4 straight games. What Hassan Reddick did for this team was more than just put up gaudy numbers, right? It was more so that he was out there and consistent. Every game we knew what we were getting out of Hassan Reddick, and not just we knew what we were getting out of him, we could not only bet on it, right? We can not only say we know that he's going to go out there and give us a big game, we can throw stuff on him. We can say, listen, now we don't have this guy. We don't got that guy. We need you to step it up even more. And he's done that. I mean, there's nothing that Hassan Reddick has done that hasn't done in this season that would make me be like, there's no way he deserves it. He deserves to be on this first team. I really don't understand how he's not. I really don't understand how he's not. 3 pass deflections, like 3 forced fumbles, excuse me. It was 5 forced fumbles, 3 forced fumbles recovered. I mean, what else did he have to do? 49 tackles, 16 sacks, 11 tackles for loss. I mean, what else did he have to do? 26 QB hits, which is 8 more than his career high, which came last year. I mean, what else does Hassan Reddick have to do for them to say, yeah, he's the best linebacker, defensive end, whatever you want to line him up as in the league? I mean, to me, I think he was. I think that a lot of people in Philadelphia will make the argument that he was. I'm cool with the rest of the list, right? Like I said, maybe you can push Jason Kelce up a little bit. Maybe Jordan Mailata gets a nod. Maybe, there's a couple guys. Maybe a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson gets a nod. There's some people that I look at and I'm like, maybe they should have got some attention, But to not put Haason Reddick on your list honestly makes me feel like the whole list is garbage. It's garbage. Okay, I had to say it in a fancy French way. You know what I mean? It's garbage. Okay, it's just trash. I don't respect it if you don't got Haason on it. So I like it though because of this, right? And this is what I'll leave you with. The Philadelphia Eagles have been disrespected for this past couple weeks, right? We lost 2 games with our backup. People acted like the roof was caving in, like the world was ending for the Philadelphia Eagles. Started saying maybe we weren't as real as we thought we were. Maybe these guys aren't that good. Maybe, we'll see what happens. Anything can happen. And I think that our team is hearing that. Everybody's hearing the doubt. Everybody's hearing that nobody thinks we can really do this, right? We're putting a chip on our shoulder. I said this in the beginning of the year in a tweet, and I'll say it right now again. The fact that the Philadelphia Eagles have a lot of very good players with a huge chip on their shoulder should scare the NFL. So I'm ready for these playoffs, man. Haason Reddick, go show them. Go show them why you're first team. But other than that, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. Who should be where? Who should be in the first team? Who should be in the second team? I'll read the first and second team off one more time. First team is Lane Johnson, TJ Edwards, and then the 3 people on the second team is Jason Kelce, AJ Brown, and James Bradbury. Again, this is per PFF. So you guys let me know what you're thinking. Other than that, y'all know what it is, man. It is Fly Eagles Fly. And we are out here. Peace.
Eagles fans everywhere. This is for you.
Fly Eagles flying on the team. Touchdown, touchdown. Time to get